Mr. Chandler, you go first this time. Let's go back to immigration. The illegal aliens in our state are affecting our state from increased costs in health care, welfare, and education to bringing additional crime to New Mexico. Do you have a plan to help improve these situations?
During my campaign, I stopped in Columbus and was able to get out and walk the border with EMTs, with police officers, with an onion farmer. And I found some very interesting things, that individuals that maybe they sustained a gunshot wound, maybe they had the flu, whatever it might be, as soon as they get on New Mexico turf, it's New Mexicans that have to treat them. And so we are seeing an increase in the costs that we are providing for illegal immigrants. And I think that it's necessary to support your fellow mankind and to make sure that if in fact you see someone that is injured, you help them. But we are seeing a serious impact to our healthcare system on the border. And we need to make sure that we truly secure our borders by putting more boots on the ground, whether we need extra technology in the area. But we have seen through studies that the more boots on the ground and the more people that are enforcing the immigration laws on the border, we see less immigration. And as the next New Mexico Attorney General, I plan to, in fact, work with our next governor. I will plan on working with the Attorney Generals, whether it's Arizona, Texas, or California. But we have to stress the importance at a national level to do their job. Because when they're not doing their job, desperate times call for desperate measures, and we see that happening in Arizona. And New Mexico has to do something to make sure those borders are secure for a lot of different reasons. Protecting New Mexicans, in addition to making sure that our services are there for those that are paying for them, which are the citizens of our state.
I'll stand up here. He's afraid I'm going to look at his notes, but I don't have my glasses on, so I can't. As I said, we actually have a plan that we've been instituting, and it's actually been being successful. Now, there's an interesting dynamic in this race because it's pretty easy for somebody who's not been in the office to say, you're not doing enough. The question is, are we doing everything that we can do? And my posit to you is that with me as the Attorney General, we've been doing everything that we can do, and that includes, and I'll mention it again, making sure that we have more National Guard troops on the border and more technology. He was talking about the technology, but we have drones that fly, we have balloons, we have monitoring stations that monitor, and the number of illegal crossings has gone down by a significant amount. Now you talk about the issues of health care on the border. I think it is a problem. I've been working with the mayor and the city council in Columbus, New Mexico, because when somebody gets shot in Columbus, they have a tendency to bring them across the border and want them to get health care on our side of the border. Now there are humanitarian reasons for doing that, but there are actually some social reasons for providing health care on the border. One of the other problems that we have across the border in Juarez and some other places is that there are diseases there like cholera and typhoid and tuberculosis and those kinds of things. So if we had people that got across the border and we refused to treat them, what does that do? It brings cholera into our communities, maybe. It brings typhoid into our communities, maybe. So does it make any sense to say we're going to deny health care to those folks? Not necessarily, because there may be some really good reason for the people that are on our side of the border to do that. Now, human nature being what it is, I don't know that we'll ever be able to build a fence high enough or have enough monitoring or something to totally seal off the border and not let one single person across the border. I mean, I think the goal is to make sure that there's not one single illegal crossing of the border. I talked to an old rancher one time. He said there are a lot of reasons people cross the border. Some of them, we might want them to come. We might want tourists to come. We might want workers to come if we have jobs for them and we know what they're going to be doing. So the secret, I think, is to develop a better policy at the federal level and then work with the feds for us to develop a policy there too.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chandler?
I'm sorry, but I think I just heard him criticize some of the laws. And we need an answer. You deserve an answer. To make sure that we don't have one illegal immigrant coming into New Mexico, yet providing a New Mexico driver's license, I don't understand what my opponent doesn't understand about illegal. It is illegal to come into this country without the proper federal paperwork. And we give them and provide them the services and privileges that New Mexicans deserve and are paying for. And part of that is obtaining a driver's license. So, Mayor, if I may pose my own question, is how do we advocate for certain laws, but sit there silent on laws like providing driver's licenses to illegal immigrants? You said it makes our highways safer. It does not. It makes our highways more dangerous. That's one way to stop the influx of illegal immigration. Take away the privileges that we're providing them in New Mexico.
All right, we'll do a little poll. How many of you think that if we don't give driver's licenses to illegal immigrants that they'll all stay away? Okay. You know, I'm not advocating that I think that it's a good idea from the perspective of immigration law to have driver's licenses. But I am saying that the legislature has passed a law and they made a policy that says we're not going to ask for immigration status when we give driver's licenses, because if people are driving on the roads of New Mexico, we want to make sure that they have some minimum level of competency, that they have insurance. Frankly, a lot of law enforcement supported passing that law when it passed a number of years ago, because for them, if they stop a car and the person in it has an identification that has a picture and where they live and all those other kinds of things, that it helps law enforcement to do that. Now, I think that there probably is a lot of discussion in the law enforcement community, in the community in Santa Fe, the policymaking community, as to whether overall the benefits of giving driver's licenses to illegals is good or bad. But I am saying to you, whatever the decision is that the legislature makes, it's the Attorney General's job to represent that law in the courts. And whether we like it or not, sometimes us lawyers, we don't get a chance to decide whether we like our clients or not. We have to represent our clients.